Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this day finds you in good spirits. Hope your Sunday is treating you well, or whenever you're watching the show right here. We got some things we got to talk about, guys. And this is a very serious matter. I have a few things I want to say before we get all the way into this conversation, nonetheless, because it is still, one, a very sensitive topic, but two, I also think that we need to let this man rest in peace. I will say that too. Okay, regardless of how he moved on from this planet, I will say that. But this does bring up a very serious conversation, a very serious topic, very serious discussion about sobriety, about the use of these types of things, okay? Whether it's excessively or dabbling, doesn't matter. It is still a conversation that we need to have as a family. And I feel you should be having that conversation with your own families as well. We all need to be aware of these things. So I'm just going to say that first and foremost, coming out the gate, because I know a lot of people are going to be very upset about this information that I'm going to be talking about. And so I want to tell you that I care. I love every single last one of y'all. I care for this man. I care for everybody who is dealing with and battling with this type of addiction. It is a very serious matter. And so I'm not here to spread rumors or try to spread gossip. I just want to have this conversation. Okay. Do you understand? Whether this is true or not, it is a conversation that we need to have. So if you appreciate that, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. Crush it. If you're watching on Facebook, crush that reaction button down below if you're watching on Facebook, because I know some of y'all are watching over there. If you're watching on any of the other platforms, be sure to follow me on those platforms. Okay? Please. That would really mean the world to me. All right? Because we do have these conversations and then some right here on this platform. And if you appreciate that, follow me on my Twitter or X. Follow me on my Instagram, my TikTok. All of them are The Pascal Show, one word. Okay? Hit that subscribe button. Crush that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Hit that follow button if you're watching on Facebook or any of the other platforms that I am streaming on right now as we speak. Follow, subscribe. And if you do appreciate the work that I put in and you want to support the channel even further, hit that join button down below. Become a member. Consider becoming a member. Support the channel, okay? These lights, there's a lot of lights, man. Okay. That would be really great. And of course, speaking of the holidays, please go check out my most recent Christmas song, I Can't Wait for Christmas, which is available on all streaming sites right now as we speak. Okay. You can even use it in your TikToks. You can use it in your Instagram stories and all that stuff. So please go jump on and enjoy. Okay. Anyway. Let us get into this conversation, all right? And of course, before we get into everything, I see a members chat, so I want to get into that really, really quick. All right. Mrs. and Mr. Steelers, welcome back. Hello. Thank you so much for being a member for the past 19 months. That's a long time. Okay. Man, that's a long time. Happy to finally catch a live. Love to you all. Yes, love back to all of you as well. And of course, you guys, Mrs. and Mr. Steelers. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. Anyway, we got to get into this conversation. As you already know, Friends star, actor, comedian, very talented individual, Matthew Perry, lost his life a few months ago. Now, a lot of us have been wondering what actually happened. How did he pass on? Of course, he was found basically gone in his hot tub. And apparently this was a hot tub that he loved and loved going to all the time. Now the thing is that there's been a lot of questions, especially revolving around his sobriety. People keep on wondering, even myself. I'm going to say it too. When I talked about the autopsy report in our last live about this, I did mention, hey, was he really clean? Was he sober during this time? Was he using an excess of something else, but saying to other people that he is flying clean and good and just high off of life? We did talk at great lengths about K, the use of K, especially for people who are battling with addiction. There's been other conversations about Suboxone and other types of medications, prescriptions made specifically for individuals that are trying to fight their addiction with opioids. We talked about that at great lengths. We had a great Speak On It segment. Y'all came in, put in your 2 cents. It was really, really amazing. And I really appreciated the people who came forward and talked about their own battles with opioid addiction as well, and the fact that they do use subs as well. And I do appreciate that conversation. And that's a conversation we need to expand on even more, because it's scary to think that once you get on subs, there really is no way of getting off of it unless you find another alternative. Please go check out that Speak On It segment at the end. Okay. I actually put it up on my the Pascal Show clips. I put that up as its own standalone segment or video. We heard from someone else who gave us some very important information about maybe another alternative to Suboxone, and I highly recommend every single person to go and check out the Speak On It segment on my secondary channel, the Pascal Show clips. This is the reason why I have that secondary channel and bringing up those Speak On It segments, because I feel that a lot of times, a lot of the great conversations and points and maybe tips and tricks and whatever, a lot of it is coming from you brilliant people that are watching and calling in and being a part of the show. So I put that onto that secondary channel specifically so that you guys can rewatch, listen, hear those things, and look up those things, research them on your own accord, and make your own independent decisions. Okay. So I highly recommend you guys do that. All right. Go check it out again. All right. Do the rewatch. And it's on the secondary channel. And if while you're there and you appreciate that, please go subscribe over there as well. All right. I am putting out a lot more clips and shorts and stuff like that over there on that channel from previous shows, just so you guys know. Okay. Back to the story, back to the conversation. We've all been wondering what happened to Matthew Perry. We've all been very concerned, thinking that, okay, could this have been just a straight up accident? Was it foul play, or did he succumb to his addictions and took the wrong dose of something? Whatever it may be, we do not know fully. But we did find out in his autopsy report that he did have K in his system. Now, I have to use these code words, okay, unfortunately, from this point on, but I'm going to say the name right now because I know some of y'all are going to ask, what's K? It's ketamine, okay? It's a very, very strong chemical. All right. It can cause you to pass out. It can cause memory loss. It has the side effect of, it has the hallucinogenic side effects. There's a lot that goes on with K, just so you know. Okay. And a lot of times when you hear that's in your system or in a person's system, when they pass in an autopsy or toxicology report, a lot of times people are wondering, oh, wow, did this person drink this without knowing, so on and so forth. We hear about K in many other circumstances other than just somebody trying to chase the dragon, if you get what I'm saying. Okay. So now we find out in his autopsy report that K was actually in his system. He, of course, whenever he took it, it made him either pass out or go into cardiac arrest. He fell into he was in his hot tub when this all happened. He slumped into his hot tub and he succumbed to water. Okay, drowning. That's all I can say. I got to use these code words from this point on, but you know what I'm saying, okay? His assistant found him face down in the hot tub. Of course, try to do as much as they could, CPR, whatnot, to revive him. They were unable to do so, and he was found and pronounced gone that night. So the autopsy report comes back saying that he had K in his system. We talked about this. We asked many questions. What does this all mean? It doesn't mean that he was getting, doesn't mean that he was chasing the dragon. Doesn't mean that he was trying to do something. Now, sorry about that, guys. My camera just got turned off. It will come back on, I promise. Okay, hold on one second. But I'm back. But that's one of the things we talked about this, and it was like, okay, from what we talked about the other day, I learned, even myself, because I didn't know K was used to treat people who are battling with opioid addiction. I didn't know that until you brilliant individuals called in and told me that information. And as we were learning throughout the show, right, that there's other prescriptions and all that. There's an alternative. There's another alternative procedure to use instead of Suboxone or any of these other types of prescriptions, that you can maybe use ketamine, K, for this as well. Apparently, this is something that a lot of people who deal with alcoholism use as well as a possible alternative to treat their addiction to alcohol. But still, something doesn't feel right, because he still had this Suboxone in his system. Then on top of it, he had K. So that doesn't make sense to me at all. The math still isn't mathing to me. Now, I understood what was said the other day, and I'm like, okay, maybe it was that. Maybe that's what it was. He was, using those things to wean off of, to stay sober, to stay clean. But then we get more information. Let me pull this up for you guys. Like this headline here. And again, to me, I look at this and I go, wait, something ain't mathing to me. For me, at least, this isn't mathing. If he had enough to knock him out, was that the right dosage that you should be taking for someone who's battling with addiction? If his levels are that high, again, I'm just saying, I asked that question before we go into what what friends of actual Matthew Perry are actually saying. Before we go into that rumor part, I look at this and I go, wait a second, this right here ain't mathin'. And from my understanding, if he was to take this to to battle his addictions, isn't it supposed to be, especially if it's K, isn't it supposed to be administered by a medical professional? You can't just go and get K, right? Oh, and trust me, there's other articles that are saying the exact same thing. It's not just TMZ, okay? There's other articles and media outlets that are covering this and saying the exact same thing, that he had enough to knock himself out. So in my mind, I go, wait a second, back to what I'm trying to say. If you are taking K, isn't this supposed to be something that is supposed to be taken and administered to you by a medical professional? So how could he literally have all that much in his system if a professional knew exactly the right amount of dosage, the right amount, the dose, etc.? Because in my personal opinion, I don't think that he would have this much in his system if a medical professional was actually administering it for him that was supervising the actual thing. So I'm wondering, and sure, okay, hold on. I got a comment from S Dubs. What's up? They said he had an infusion of the K a few days before. It would have been administered by a professional. Sure. But then, okay, if he was taking K, then why is he taking Suboxone at the same time then? You see what I'm saying? I can't say the word, the bup. I don't know, buprenorphine, whatever it is, okay? It's Suboxone or the bup, okay? I'm just going to call it bup right now. If you're taking the K for your battles with opioid addiction, why would you take the K a few days ago and then start taking Suboxone again? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't. And of course, they say the levels in his system were high. It wasn't like this was just some low dose and then he took the Suboxone and then all this, ish hits the fan. So like I said, it just doesn't make any sense. I'm going to keep it real, and I'm trying to approach this with as much sensitivity as I can, but I can't help but say, wait a second, this stuff is not making any sense to me, with all due respect. All right. So Matthew Perry had enough K in his system that could have been rendered he could have been rendered incapacitated or unconscious, causing him to drown based on autopsy findings. According to the LA County Medical Examiner, Perry's K levels were over 3,500 milliliters. When surgery patients are given anesthesia, K levels are in the 1,000 to 6,000 range. So Perry was on a higher range, or was in the higher range. Now, I know you guys are brilliant out here. Maybe some of y'all are going to look at this and go, wait a second. Nah, that ain't nothing, so on and so forth. And like I said, I'm talking to you guys because I'm still, like I said, very new to all this information. This is a genre and a category that I'm still very brand new to. Okay. But when I hear something like this is some heavy stuff. That's a lot, in my personal opinion. And they say it was enough to knock him the F out. And if he had that a few days ago, what doesn't make any sense? I feel like there was more. That I hate to say it like that. I feel like he may have done it again. I mean, if he had an infusion a few days before that, why was it suddenly kicking off on the day in the moment of his passing? That doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? Is something just ain't math in here. It just isn't. Let me continue, though. In other words, the amount of K in his system was equivalent to the anesthesia some patients get before surgery. I think that's very important to hear that part. That's a lot. There's a lot of K. That's a strong dose of K, right? Perry could have just become disoriented enough that he lost his life in the hot tub. Now, we already know he was found gone in his hot tub. All right. He had been prescribed ketamine for depression and anxiety, although it was also used as a recreational drug. He was taking it every other day. But 6 months ago, a new doctor tried to wean him off the regimen because he had showed signs of improvement. That prescribed dose was a week and a half before his demise. And the effects generally only last around 6 hours. Again, remember what I just read from S Dubs. If it was administered to him a few days ago, that's longer than 6 hours. So it appears the 54-year-old actor may have taken the K shortly before getting in the hot tub. Now, going back up here, it says they were trying to wean him off of the regimen because he showed signs of improvement, which is great. Eureka. Fantastic. I'm happy about that. That's fantastic news. But were they basically saying, hey, we're going to take you off the K and give you Suboxone? Were they saying, oh, we're going to use a different alternative? And maybe that didn't work for him. So he went back to the K. But again, if he only got it, if he was administered K days before, and it has a lasting effect of 6 hours, it only lasts around 6 hours. The effects generally only last around 6 hours, then that math ain't mathin'. That math ain't mathin'. Again, let me just say this too. Now, there's a good, strong possibility of what we all have been speculating here for a while. We've all been speculating that he took this, he got into the hot tub, he shouldn't have mixed the hot tub with that particular chemical, and then tragedy ensues. That's still a very strong possibility. But still, it's just not working out for me. If he was administered it a few days before, it generally lasts, the effects of it generally last for 6 hours, then that timeline doesn't work. So in my mind, I keep thinking maybe he took the Suboxone, realized that the Suboxone was not cutting it enough for him, so he took the ketamine as well. And he had both of them in his system, maybe at the same time. Now, this is just speculation warning. This is just my theory. And then maybe it was a combination of all those things combined with the hot tub, and boom goes the dynamite. That's just my theory. Now, again, I can be absolutely 110% wrong, so don't come at me. I'm just saying my theory. Or he really was trying to feel something, if you get what I'm saying, and took more than he should have taken. Clearly, if they say, and I'll show you that article one more again, if they say, where did it go? If they say his levels were in the upper range, as if he was about to go get under the knife for some sort of surgery, that tells me that maybe either he was trying to achieve a specific goal, if you get what I'm saying, or he wasn't looking at what he was taking, didn't realize what he was taking or how much he was taking, and he took it. Or this is the level that he usually takes. This is the amount of K that he usually. It just doesn't make sense. And then of course it makes you wonder, how was it consumed? How did he get it inside of his body? You got to remember, if it was administered by a doctor, what was going on before he got into that hot tub? Was he administered K again by this doctor a few hours before? It's like I said, yeah, Miss Anonymous. It's just it's just not adding up for me. Though, if he knows his tolerance, he wouldn't jump in a hot tub. Yeah, I mean, it's just weird. Like I said, I don't get it. And I mean, maybe there's another possibility that he didn't realize that he took K before. You see what I'm saying? Maybe he didn't realize that, because sometimes we forget. It's like, did I drink coffee today? Did I drink my cup of coffee today or no? Oh, no, I did. You know what I'm saying? I know that's like the worst analogy in the world, but sometimes we forget things, right? You have a busy day. You're doing 15 different things all at the same time. We're spinning 15,000 plates all at the same time, and also trying to maintain our sanity. Sometimes you forget things during that day and you go, wait a second, did I close the garage before I left? Did I? I don't remember doing that. Oh, okay. I did. Thank God. You know, things like that happen, but I don't know. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. So theory still remains. He could have forgotten that he took it, or he took it, but felt like he needed to cut cut that craving even more and took something else on top of it, then got into the hot tub, and then bang. That's the only other theory I can think of. Even after when we hear when you guys were so gracious in telling your stories and sharing your experiences with Suboxone and all that, it does make you realize, like, dang, okay, like getting off of that stuff is really hard. So what if he took the K, still had cravings, took Suboxone because he needed to cut the edge off, got into the hot tub, didn't realize that maybe that was the worst combination in the world, and then bang. I mean, I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm just saying it out loud because I'm just trying to make sure it makes sense to me too, But that's a possibility, right? But now we have other people coming out and saying, and to me, I'm kind of like, well, I get how people are reacting right now because I read some of these comments from people who are, that read this article, and they're just basically like, why don't everybody just leave this man alone, kind of thing. Like, this is not helping the situation, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. I fully get it. Right. But we do know that this is somebody who had a very severe addiction problem, like a severe addiction to many different types of chemicals. Okay. Let's keep that abundantly 100%. Okay. Not percent, percent. I don't know why I said that like that. But we know that this is somebody who is very, very vocal about his struggles and how he had serious problems with this. Okay. So when I see this, and I feel like a lot of people, when they see this, not only the gut reaction is, just leave the man alone. Why don't you just let this man breathe? So, like, let him just rest in peace and all that. 100% I agree. But also I can see why the other world goes, well, that's a possibility too. Even I said that when we initially talked about his autopsy report. When we initially found out that K was in his system, my knee-jerk reaction was, well, he has a history of this. This could very well be what it is. Maybe he took too much of it because he was trying to feel something, right? And then, of course, tragedy happens. So when I hear about this, like I said, I'm sitting on the fence. I feel what people are saying about just let him rest in peace. And I feel what people are saying about, hey, he did have he had severe addictions. But let's take a look at this article, okay? Let's take a look at this together as a family. Let me get this super chat or this members chat really, really quick. Gaynor, thank you so much for being a member for the past 10 months, almost a year. Damn. Thank you. Great to also catch you live, Pascal. Always love the work you do here. So thank you and appreciate all you do for us. Thank you. Happy holidays to you and your family. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Happy holidays to you as well, to you and your family and everybody else who's watching right now. Happy holidays. I hope it's all great. I hope you guys get what you want this year. If that's even just as simple as just getting some hugs from your loved ones and time with people that you care for and care about, I hope that's what you get, okay? Because we all deserve that. We just need the simple things, guys. It's beyond things being wrapped in a tiny or big ass box. I'll just say that really quick. Let me get into this article. All right. So he was, they say a friend claims that he lied about his sobriety, said that he was never clean. Okay. After we hear about this KOD situation. Okay. So let's take a look at this article. And do me a favor, guys. Okay. Real quick. Hit that like button down below. That would really, really mean a lot to me. Hit that like button down below. I'd love to see it go past 300 likes. Okay. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, please hit that reaction button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on YouTube, hit that follow button on Facebook. Join the Pascal Show family membership. Support this channel if you appreciate the conversations. We do have, I'm going to say this really quick before we go into this article. We do have another show coming up in a couple hours. Because honestly, there's some new developments on another case that I want to share with you guys, and we need to talk about that as a family big time. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. Okay, and it's on a case I've been covering for a little bit, but there's been new information, new footage that we definitely need to talk about. Okay, so that's crazy too, man. Man, 1 minute I think one thing, the next minute I think something else, the next minute I think something. It's going back and forth. Man, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. But anyway, we're going to be talking about this in the next live, which will be coming up in the next couple hours. So be on the lookout for that, okay? And some people are already putting in their speculations on who I'm talking about. I'm just going to nod, okay? I'm just going to nod. I'm just, like I said, just be ready for it because it's coming as soon as we get done with this. About a little bit less than an hour later, we're going to be hopping back on most likely and chopping it up as a family. Okay, let's get into this article. So they're saying that he never was sober, never was clean, that he was lying about all this stuff. Okay, and this is what a friend claims. All right, Friends star Matthew Perry. We already know he passed at the age of 54. Okay, the star said in his best-selling memoir, 2022 memoir, that he had finally overcome his addictions with the help of a sober coach and best friend. However, a close friend of the star who preferred not to be named said, quote unquote, he lied to everyone about being clean. He never was. It is very sad. You know, the biggest lie he told was probably to himself. The source added, he could be quite a manipulative person when it came to his struggles with using. But it was such a struggle, such a battle, and he battled every day to the end. Now, an autopsy published Friday revealed that the star died from acute effects of K and, of course, the hot tub, with Perry having similar quantities of K in his system as a hospital patient under general anesthetic, like anesthetic. But now let me tell you this. I'm sorry, okay? But I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. We didn't see the levels. We didn't know about the numbers and whatnot when we first talked about this. But when we hear about the large amount of K that was in his system, that tells me, that paints a different narrative for me. That does not sound like a person who was using it to stop the cravings, okay? To stop his addictions. This to me seems like somebody who either two different things. I'm going to put two different things on the table, okay? One, it was a person, two different options, I'm saying. One, he was trying to cut the edge off, but did too much. It did not use the right amount, or he really was trying to achieve something. He was really trying to feel something, if you get what I'm saying. There's the two only options I can think of, because if he was administered it a few days before that, he should have been fine. I mean, allegedly, right? I mean, again, I'm still new to this whole thing, but I'm assuming you take it and a few days later, you should still be okay. So why re-administer yourself? Why take it again? Then on top of it, Suboxone was on there too. Or Bupe was on there too. So explain that to me. Like I said, still brand new to this, but to me, it seems like it's either one or the other. Or he was doing it on his own free, like he was administering the K independently without a professional. You see what I'm saying? Thinking that he's done it before, he knows how much he should be taking, so he does it, and maybe just miscalculated, took too much on accident or something like that. That's a good possibility. But to me, when you have a large amount in your system that says it's basically like he was a patient about to go under the knife, that tells me something different. Just interesting. But let's move on. The County of Los Angeles Department of Medical Examiner determined the cause of demise as acute effects of ketamine, which we did talk about that. We talked about what does this mean, acute effects, etc. Okay. But now I'm looking at acute effects of K in a completely different way when we hear about the amount that was in his system. Okay. Contributing factors in his demise include the hot tub, okay, coronary artery disease, and the effects of bupe. Okay. And this, of course, is like the Suboxone. Okay. It's to treat opioid addiction. Okay. They're saying a combination of all these things, including the large thing, okay, the large elephant in the room, the K, combine all those things together. That's the thing that caused him to go bye-bye. Okay. At the high levels of K found in his postmortem blood specimens, the main lethal effects would be from both cardiovascular overstimulation and respiratory depression. That's what the medical examiner said in this autopsy report right here. So it says here, from anatomic findings and pertinent history, I ascribe to the demise to number one with a bullet is acute effects of K. That's the top one. And then everything else is underneath that because why? At least from in my personal opinion, it sounds like the doctor's trying to say, or the medical examiner is trying to say that, hey, he took this K, the K caused everything else to go down. The of course the drowning, of course the coronary artery disease. Well, he already had the coronary artery disease, but I think that he, given the fact that he had that stuff in his system, that high level of K in his system, with the Suboxone, he already had coronary uh, artery disease. You combine all those things and the hot water, and then of course that causes him to knock out. He falls into the hot tub, and then next thing you know, it's a wrap. Unfortunately, that's how I see it. Okay. And I leave that up to you guys. Now, is that a sign of someone who is lying about being sober, lying about being clean and all that? I leave that part up to you, but it seems like it was a perfect storm, for lack of a better term. I hate that phrase because no storm storms are not perfect. Okay. All right. They're not positive. All right. But it seems like it's a trifecta, a perfect storm of all things that could possibly take him off this planet, took him off this planet. You see what I'm saying? Now, some other people think maybe it's self doing the unthinkable to himself. I don't know. I don't read it like that. I read it like he just took too much of whatever he had, and it was an accident. I really do think it was very much an accident. Okay. Now let's take a look at this briefly. All right. But this is in here. Prescription medications. Okay. Of course, he was found floating face down in the heated end of the pool. Prescription medications and loose pills present at residence. However, none reported near pool, and no medications, drugs, or drug paraphernalia adjacent to the pool. No signs of fatal trauma and no foul play suspected. All the pills, prescription pills, all the medication that he had was nowhere near his place of where he lost his life. Nowhere near his body. Okay, nowhere near the crime scene. All right. So this is let's continue here. Let me see. Let's see. Has normal size. Okay, that's let's see. Sorry guys, I'm looking at this. Okay. So okay. So major branches of the aorta, sorry, show no severe abnormality within the pericardial sac. There is serious fluid, as the heart has normal configuration. I'm trying to see if there's anything in here. See toxicology, samples of his of heart blood, femoral blood, gastric contents, liver, bile, urine, and vitreous are submitted to the laboratory. An EDTA tube is collected for blood typing. Okay, let's look at the summary and opinion. Mr. Perry's cause of demise is determined from the acute effects of K. Let's see. The factors in his demise include drowning, coronary artery disease, BUP effects, because I don't know how to pronounce that to save my life. The manner of his demise is accident, drug, and hot tub related, for lack of a better term. No signs of foul play are suspected in his demise. At the high levels of ketamine found in his postmortem blood specimens, the main lethal effects would be from both cardiovascular overstimulation and respiratory depression. The hot tub contributes due to the likelihood of submersion into the pool as he lapsed into unconsciousness. Coronary artery disease contributes due to the exacerbation of K-induced myocardial effects on the heart. BUP effects are listed as uh, as contributory, even though not at toxic levels, due to the additive respiratory effects when present with high levels of K. Let me just say this again. Again, they keep saying K, 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 K is the issue, is the reason why all this went down. He had a large amount of K in his system. They're saying that is basically the first domino to go boop, and then the rest of the dominoes fell where they laid, where they stood, or at least. And just like that, one after the other, it was a domino effect. All those things happened. Okay, so they're saying autopsy shows no fatal blunt or penetrating trauma. Okay, so again, it says toxicology testing reveals K levels at 3,540 milliliters. Okay, in a peripheral blood source. For context, in monitored surgical anesthesiologic, I can't even say that, care levels for general anesthesia are typically in the 1,000 to 6,000. We already read this piece, but this is from the medical examiner's own mouth and in his own summary of his autopsy, of Matthew Perry's autopsy. Okay. Also detected. So high levels, again, on the higher half. All right. Also detected was BUP. All right. Which we already know. The levels were therapeutic for the drug, as well as its metabolite, blah blah blah, non-toxic. Nah, nah. And of course, he breaks it down, which we already know about this. K is a dissociative anesthetic with established human medical and surgical uses. Also, it is used in recreational drug use and other illicit settings, mainly due to its dissociative nature, indicating disconnection of mind from body. It can also have a short duration of hallucinatory and psychedelic effects. This later effect explains its use in nightclub, party, and rave culture. Yes, they also say they use it in, date. It's the date R drug, right? Now they say this part, which is driving me crazy too. I want to know the effect method, the exact method of his intake in this case is unknown. So they don't even know how he got it in his system. But they say there were trace amounts of ketamine detected in the stomach contents. He was reported to be receiving ketamine infusion therapy for depression and anxiety, per the medical examiner investigator's report. His last known treatment, this makes it even worse, y'all. His last known treatment of getting the infusion was a week and a half prior to his demise. And the ketamine in his system at his demise could not be from that infusion therapy, since K's half-life is 3 to 4 hours or less. Hold up. Let me see if I can blow this up even more. I want you guys to see this because I want to make sure you can see this as clear as day. So his intake is unknown. All right? Intake unknown. There were traces of ketamine detected in the stomach contents. He was reported to be receiving K infusion therapy for depression and anxiety. Per the medical examiner investigator's report, his last known treatment was 1.5 weeks prior to his demise, and the K in his system at his demise could not be from that infusion therapy, since K's half-life is 3 to 4 hours or less. Boom goes the dynamite. I'm just saying, bang. Okay, so you see something like that. What say you guys? Is the friend that came out and said, oh yeah, he's lying about his sobriety, he was never clean, he was never sober, so on and so forth? Are they lying? Are they telling the truth? Again, when we see this, there was K in his system, in his stomach, in the contents of that they found in his stomach, right? Then they looked, and when they went back to do their research to find out that, to make sure there wasn't any sort of foul play of some sort, or to get a better understanding of what his last moments were, they find out that he did a K infusion, which was administered by a medical professional a week and a half before. And apparently he was taking that for his depression and anxiety. But that stuff only lasts for 3 to 4 hours. This was found in his system at the moment, in his body, when he passed away. And it was a large amount of K. Levels of K were very high. Again, it says all the way at the top of this whole freaking document. It says number 1 with a bullet, which I'm going to show you guys again. Blammo. It says right here. Let me blow this up because I know some of y'all watching this on an iPhone 3. It says right here, acute effects of K. Number 1 with a bullet. Again, large amounts of K, period. Then he said, or the medical examiner, I don't know if it's a male or female, but the medical examiner also said that when they went through all their stuff, when they went through all of his whole body doing this autopsy, they found out that the reason why everything else happened was because of the K. K was in his system. It was a large amount of it in his system. He already had heart problems, as we are now learning, but at the same time, The K, I think, just revved those things up, made things worse for him. And again, it was like I said, it's like a domino effect. It was the K, then it was the this, and then the that, and then that, and then the hot tub. And he just wasn't found fast enough, unfortunately. It breaks my heart. Hold on, sorry, guys. So, yeah. So there it is. Now we know that. Now we know that piece. And it's terrible. That's terrible news. That's terrible news, especially when we actually see the autopsy report, because the autopsy report is going to give us the truth. F all the rumors and the friends saying things and all that stuff. F all of that. The autopsy report tells us the real story. It does. This is the reason why we all get super excited, or why we get very anxious about hearing what the autopsy report says, because that paints us a different narrative, or it gives us the narrative that we've all been speculating. We always anticipate the autopsy report, and now we have it. And what they're saying in this autopsy report, they're saying that it was the K, and the K caused everything else. It caused everything else. What's that thing called? I forgot what it's called. It's the it's like it was like in the beginning of the Pee Wee Herman movie. You know, it's like, you know, I don't know, a ball rolls down and hits a domino. The domino does a bunch of dominoes, and it hits like this arrow, and the arrow hits, you know, it pulls the bow and arrow, and the arrow hits the bullseye, and then that cuts off the string to drop the trap, and then it goes over to, and then all of a sudden we get to the point where they all he was trying to do was toast some Eggo waffles. You know what I'm saying? What is that thing called? It's like a something contraption or whatever the hell it's called. I think it starts with an R. Okay, no, not mouse trap. It's like it's a much more complicated name. I think it's a name of somebody. But there's a chain reaction, sure. But I'm talking about that whole thing. Okay, somebody knows it out there. If you do know, yeah, ripple effect, chain reaction. No, there's a name for it, and it's like a guy's name. I just don't remember the name. Somebody knows it out there. If you know it, and you're watching the replay, just comment down below. Let me know, because I forgot what it's called. But I feel like this is the whole thing, right? The K is what started the domino effect. The K is what caused the chain. The Rube Goldberg. Thank you. Yes, there it is. Rube Goldberg, right here. Blammo. Yes, there it is. Thank you, Glitter. There it is. Yes. Okay. Like I said, pretty crazy. All right. And heartbreaking to hear this, because again, he was working so hard, or at least that's what he was saying. Okay. Because we don't know what really is the truth here. Okay. But he was talking, and he still, no matter what, was fighting it every day. Doesn't matter if he slipped up. Doesn't matter if he got off the bad bandwagon or got on the bad bandwagon, whichever that phrase is. It doesn't matter. He still was battling this every single day, and I think we should still give the respect to him where respect is due. He was dealing with a lot, and it's unfortunate how he passed. Now, if it is a thing where he was trying to achieve something, I leave that up to you guys. To me, the levels in his system tell me something else. The autopsy report is giving me something else. I don't think it's foul play. I think he administered this himself. And maybe he was hiding in plain sight. Maybe he thought that that amount was going to be fine and it would still count as being sober, as being clean and still living his life in sobriety. I don't know. But I do know that we all have people in our lives that are dealing with or battling with their own demons, battling with addictions and whatnot. And there are people out here that will say one thing and be doing something completely different behind closed doors. But then again, I will say this too. There's still a good possibility, because we still got to give him the benefit of the doubt. There's still a good possibility that he was really sober and really clean this entire time. And then this was just the day that he tried something different and it just backfired. That could be it too. I don't know, guys. I mean, again, it's heartbreaking to hear any of this news. And of course, I'd rather not have this be the story. But then again, the autopsy says something, and the autopsy is everything. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, we're going to talk about this. If there's more information that comes out, we will talk about it. Okay? And I will say this too, before we get going. Don't let, for those of y'all who have friends and family, loved ones, or even if you're battling and dealing with the struggles of sobriety, of staying clean, please don't let this story or this conversation deter you from going towards that. Keep staying on that path of sobriety. I just want to make that abundantly clear. Okay? We all love you, and you are your own person. Okay? Doesn't matter what Matthew Perry did or didn't do. His journey is his journey. Your journey is yours. So stay on that path of sobriety. And if you need to call anyone, please, there are hotlines. There are your friends that are out here and loved ones that will listen to you and embrace you with open arms. Just remember that, okay? I appreciate all y'all for being here. Again, do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. That'll be really appreciated. I'll be back on very soon because we got to talk about this other story, but I need to set it up really quick. So please hit that like button down below. Crush it. That would be amazing. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on Facebook. That would really mean a lot to me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, crush that follow button on my Facebook page. Please and thank you. Okay? It'd be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family on all platforms. So if you're watching on Twitter, please follow me there. If you're watching on Twitch, follow me there. Okay? And please follow my Instagram and my TikTok. That would be dope as well. All right? The Pascal Show, one word. I'm trying to bulk those up as best as I can. All right? We're going to keep having these much needed and most necessary conversations as often as we can, because we need to spread the love and spread the awareness. Okay. But anyway, guys, we got to get going. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll be talking to you guys very shortly. All right. Very, very shortly. I'll see you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys in less than an hour, most likely. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.